Okay, hello everyone and welcome to the 4th Annual Kentucky MiniMini 2015. We're going to start here at the beginning of our campground and go through our pods. Here on site number 1 in their 179, we have Ed and Cindy from up in Indiana. And then coming up here on site number 3 is Janet and Kevin. They're in the TARDIS pod. It's a 182G, and they're one of our locals here in Kentucky. And this is not part of our group. Okay, so we're going to round the corner here, and we're going to come up on one of our first of 2 camp lights that's here this week. And this is Ann and Drew. They've been coming with us to the MiniMini for several years. They're also here from Kentucky. On site number 9, there we go. It's Anna and Philip in their 177 here from Texas with us. And we're going to sneak up on site number 11 here is Marietta and John. In one of the original first ever maids, Old Rings pod there. 171. Hello folks! And if Carrie doesn't kill me by braking, she's doing good. We're going to sneak on down here to site number 13, and we got another 179. We've got Mary and Dan here with us from Illinois. And they're packing up right now. And we're going to come to the stop here, and Carrie's going to take us on around the backside of the loop. Okay, we're coming up on the back loop of the campground here at Nolin Lake State Park. And actually, we'll see if we can do both sides at once here. We are coming up on site number 16 here off to my left. And that is Debbie and Larry. And they are in the coolest pod here. It's the 181G. With us from Tennessee. Hi, folks! And right up from them on site number 18 is David and Terry in a 177 here from Kentucky. That is the Florida pod. We will sneak off to the right here. We have Mary here in Kentucky at site number 17 in a 177. We have Nancy and Bill coming up on site number 19, and I do not have their pod. Hey Nancy! What model is your pod? A 176. There we go. So there we go. There's our 176 here with us this week. And Carrie's going to slow down real quick and let me turn to the left. You can keep going though. And we're going to come up on site number 20 here. We have Danya from Indiana in her 178 hanging out here with us. And we will turn over to the right again. We have Greg and Gail in a 179, and they would be from Tennessee. And we'll sneak up here, and Karen was wanting to show off her amazing outdoor shower here in their 178. That's Mark and Karen, site number 23 from Tennessee. Site number 25, we're coming up on a 171 from North Carolina, and this is Jonna and Bruce here in Blues Pod. Sneak off to the right here just a bit, and there's Kevin in the serve pod. He's here in his Surveyor now. Not recently, but previously a 179 owner. We will sneak around to site number 22 now, and there is everyone's favorite Tink here in the Tinker pod from Tennessee in her 174. Coming up on site number 29, we'll do Barbara and Jim in a 182G from Tennessee. There on site number 30, we have Jim and Kathy, who are some of our locals here in Kentucky, in their 178. Going right past that is Dave and Cindy there in site number 31, and that's in a big butt 179 that a lot of us will be familiar with there. sneak off to the side here, you'll catch us here hosting from site number 24, and that is Moose Pod from Kentucky, a 181G. Jennifer is left for the day, but she came in on site number 26, and she is from Virginia. Another one of our garage models. She has a 182. We have Chris and Kathy in and out this loop here at site number 28 from Maryland, and they're 171. Kathy's always excited about her slidiness of her 171. And we will come over to the last pod in the loop, and we'll hang out with Micah there, and Maggie, and there's Susie. And that is Fur Pod, a 177 here from Kentucky. And now Carrie will take us on up slowly. And we'll end out the rest of our loop here on the right. We'll see some of our podders actually gathering for lunch here today. Coming up on the right side of the front loop, site number 14, we have Jeanette and Wayne from Alabama and the 178 there. And Benji the Beagle will be in there with them. You can go a little faster, Carrie, you're good. Up past, oh, I say that and then she almost throws me off the truck. We'll come up on site number 12 here. Another one of our garage pods. It's Annie and Larry in their 182G from Pennsylvania. There you go, you're good. And you can probably see it coming up there. We are getting up on some podders at lunch here. But we will take a look up at site number 8 there. That's Mike and Kim. They're also locals here to Kentucky, joining us this week. And they are in their 178 here. Site 6 is Daryl and Julie and their 178 from Ohio. Give the little beep, Carrie. So people know to wave, you can beep the horn. Carrie can't actually beep the horn on the truck, so we're just going to let everybody know that we are passing through. You got to push it hard, sweetie. Push the horn. There we go. There's the toot. And there are our podders here having lunch here this afternoon. We'll come up here on site number 4. Sandy and John from Wisconsin in their 178. And we are going to round out the front of our loop up here in some of the wooded sites with our second of the 2 camp lights. This is Ed and Rita in theirs, and they are also from Kentucky. So we've had quite a showing of pods here, a few non-pods but former pod owners, and a few have just joined us over the years here at the MiniMini. And I think we can say that after this year, there'll be quite a few more that try to join us each year. And we will look to fill out a park again next year. But that is it. That is your podders of the 2015 Kentucky MiniMini.